morning. Welcome to our show, The Great Talk. I'm Dr. Mohammad Rafiq Farouqi, Editor-in-Chief, CA Media Group, Gujarat. With me is our Director, Shri Veerbhadra Singh Chauhan sir, and to my extreme left is our Event Coordinator, Mrs. Ruxana M.R. Farouqi. Today, we are going to have conversation with one of the greatest personality in India, the Honourable Executive Director of Indian Social Institute, New Delhi, Father Denzil Fernandes, sir. Sir, I would like to welcome you in our program. I would like to put forward my sincere thanks to you for joining our program and also giving us your important time. To continue the program, I would like to ask sir the first question. Sir, would you please elaborate or give introduction about your good self and your organization?
Thank you very much for welcoming me to this show.
Most welcome.
And my name is Father Denzil Fernandes. I am a Jesuit of the Goa province, and I have done my masters from Pune University in economics as well as politics.
Right.
And then later I completed my doctorate studies in social sciences from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai.
Right.
After that, I have been appointed over here in Indian Social Institute. Initially, I was head of the Department of Dalit Studies. Now, from 2015, I am the executive director of this institute. Indian Social Institute is an institute which was founded in 1951 by Father Jerome D'Souza. Father Jerome D'Souza was a Jesuit who was also the principal of Loyola College, Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a member of the Constituent Assembly that deliberated on the Constitution of India. And his signature is also there, one of the signatories of the Constitution of India. So after the Constitution was formulated and it was implemented in 1950, the Superior General of the Society of Jesus invited him to start an institute for the development of India, which was at that time a new nation, just coming out of colonialism. There was, as you know, a lot of problems, there was a lot of poverty and so on.
Correct.
So there was need to do a lot of research and development at that time. And so he started this institute on 6th January 1951. He started it in Pune first. And this institute moved to Delhi in 1962, and from then on it has been over here in Delhi.
Correct.
Since the last 70 years, we have completed 70 years, and during the last 70 years we have conducted a lot of research studies which have impacted policy. We were very much involved in agricultural policy, which resulted in the Green Revolution. We also were very much involved with the labor policy and the wage policy at that time. And that is why the labor minister in the Indira Gandhi government is the one who has not only laid the foundation stone of this building,
Right.
but also he came again to inaugurate this building in 1972. So then later also we have been involved in various researches and so on, which have helped policy making, basically social policy, because we have always focused on marginalized groups and the marginalized groups have been basically, as you know, the Dalits, the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, the tribals, Adivasis, women, unorganized workers,
Right.
and so on. So this has been our main focus. So since research has been the main agenda of this institute right from the beginning, it has also resulted in publications, books, and articles, and so on. And we have also been involved in various other activities as well, like legal awareness, because we realize that while laws are being passed, the people do not know these laws. For example, right to information law is there, but unless the people know what this law is all about, they won't be able to use this law for their own benefit.
Correct.
And there are so many other very good socially relevant laws like MGNREGA and right to education and so on. So right to food is another law which is very helpful for the people. And so it is important that the people know these laws, and we have been trying to promote the various socially relevant laws among the people. And since we have been involved with the framing of the Constitution under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar,
Right.
we have also tried to promote the values of the Constitution, basically democracy, secularism, justice, equality, liberty, fraternity. These are the values that we cherish in the Constitution, and these are the values that should not remain on paper, but it should be, felt by the people that they really experience this. And, it is an ongoing movement. It's an ongoing process, but we have been into this for the last 7 years.
Great. This is absolutely wonderful that your organization is doing tremendous work, and one of the beauty of your organization is it has already completed 70 years. It started in Pune, now you shifted to New Delhi, and then the Ministry of Labour laying down the foundation stone is itself one of the milestones. Anyway, sir, I also would like to use, sir, since you have taken various responsibilities, I would like to know how will you progress, what are your plans and what are your strategies?
As an executive director of an institute, I have to see that the various works and various departments of the institute function, and it is functioning as per the vision and mission of our institute. So our plans have always been in relation to the benefit of the country. So the first thing is that we try to promote the values of the Constitution and the various socially relevant laws. So that has been one of the main agendas of the institute, and that will continue. We also give paralegal training. That means we train ordinary people or NGOs to use these laws for the benefit of the people. So that has been one. The other has been, we also try to see how the research that we do on Dalits, on tribals, on women, on organized labor, they benefit the people. And they can either benefit the people through the civil society groups that work at the grassroots, or the government can use it for trying to update the laws and so on. and make it more socially relevant. As you know that the government has an important role to play because they frame the laws, they frame the policies. So if they frame a good labor policy or labor law, then the workers will benefit.
Absolutely.
If they frame a good education policy, then the children will benefit, the future of the country will benefit.
Absolutely.
If they make a good health policy, then the health of the nation will improve. So these are the main issues that we consider. And we look at what is socially relevant, and we try to do research on that, and then we try to give it back to the people and the government, so that they are able to use it to make policy and so on. Before, we used to also do research for Indian Council for Social Science Research. But for the last 4 or 5 years, the rules changed, and now since we are totally an independent institute, not affiliated to any university, now we are unable to get the grants from Indian Council for Social Science Research. But our researchers are also sought by various ministries. And the Labour Ministry has been asking for our researchers. So just the Women and Child Ministry has also asked for our researchers and so on. So this is one thing. But as part of the research, it's not only doing research and publishing that. We also have consultations and seminars, conferences, and so on. And these seminars, conferences are on some socially relevant issue. And the various people come, and various experts, academicians, professors of universities, they come and they present their papers, and these papers are published in the form of books. Okay, so this is another work that we have been doing, and in these times it is not possible to work alone. We have to collaborate with a large number of organizations, whether it be research institutes, whether it be NGOs, whether it be government, and various other institutions. So we do a lot of collaborative work also. So a lot of our programs are also collaborative programs, jointly with various other organizations. So this is, our work, and our plans for the future is precisely trying to look at the country as it is now, because we have the Constitution, we have the preamble of the Constitution, we have the values of the Constitution, and we see where these values are functioning and where they are not. And we focus on various communities and people who are often left out. So that they are able to benefit from the policies of the government. Besides that, we also have the global scenario as well. For example, the Sustainable Development Goals, of which
you know.
But India is a signatory, so we have to ensure that that the Sustainable Development Goals that India has signed is implemented.
Absolutely.
So, for example, we have said that we should eradicate poverty. We have to eradicate hunger. We have to ensure gender equality. We we have to ensure education, quality education for all. So these are the commitments that the country has made to the global body. And so we have to also be part of that.
Absolutely.
And so we are also trying to see how in our small way we can, maybe our contribution may be a drop in the ocean, but a drop is even important.
Absolutely.
So that is another aspect. The other thing is India is also a signatory of various conventions of International Labour Organization.
True.
Like eradication of child labor and so on and so forth. So this is another area that ensuring that the global commitments that India has made to for sustainable development goals, for the conventions of International Labour Organization, as well as the human rights,
Correct.
United Nations human rights. There's the Declaration of Human Rights, and we also have made commitment to that. And not only that, we have Universal Periodic Review, which monitors the progress of human rights and so on. So all these commitments that the country has made globally, we try to see how we can contribute in making sure that our country is compliant to all the global commitments that it has made.
Great. This is absolutely wonderful that your organization is not just doing the social research, it is also looking at each and every aspect from the global point of view. Apart from that, you are also easing the government burden. You are contributing in whatever way possible your organization is doing. Before we proceed, I would like to invite now Sir to proceed with the interview.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi. Sir, as you just now told, this institution has been involved since beginning from the 1951 into the formation of constitution along with Dr. Ambedkar, and the vision of Ambedkar's is being brought through this thing. As you said, we have been trying to reach to the people, those who have been left out or those who have been discarded from the society. Like the tribal, the Dalits, all the people, this mission is still continuing. So we're trying to fill the gap so that the equality comes and people have to take it care of like that. And you're trying to reach these people through the right to RTI, right to information for this thing. You have the labor laws, other things are there, and the education point of, and for the education of laborers, their children. So you see, that means you're doing a very good thing, and you're trying to help out government also in that case. See, in here, people make the constitution, make the rules and everything, but this thing is being not reached to the downtrodden people actually. Basically, which you're trying to do, it's very good job you're doing it. And apart from that, you just said that globally you're also trying to help out. What are the which you have been as a part of the secretariat maybe, but trying to ensure that those things which have been formed for the betterment of the country, you're trying to ensuring that those things have been fulfilled, and you're trying to monitoring it, which is called monitoring, which you're doing it, which is essential for any organization to run in this thing. Monitoring has to be there because that brings your pros and cons on that, which makes your improvements can be made in that. Improvement can be made at any stage. Now, as you already we told all this thing, now I'd just like to ask you, sir, what is your mission and vision of your this prestigious, this what do you call that organization which is doing worldly, doing a good job? That is.
Yes, sir.
The vision of our institute is to build a just, humane, secular, democratic, inclusive Indian society wherein the poor and marginalized communities cherish equality, dignity, freedom, justice, peace and harmony.
That's true.
And the mission of our institute is to engage in social transformation through socially relevant research, training, publication and advocacy works aimed at integral development of the marginalized communities, particularly the Dalits, Adivasis, women, minorities, unorganized and landless laborers in partnership with academicians, people's movements, human rights organizations, ecological movements nationally and internationally. So this has been our vision and mission, and keeping this in mind, we try to accomplish our works. We also, from 2004, has been given the special consultative status at the United Nations Economic and Social Council, and so we can also participate, and we have also participated in meetings of the United Nations.
In other words, so now I'd like to ask you, sir, what are the current projects and what you're having in plan for the future projects?
Presently, we are engaged in some research projects. One is on child labor in the tea gardens in Assam. So this is one study. As you know, child labor, though it is eradicated, supposed to be eradicated, but it exists.
Absolutely.
But so that's why we are trying to find that out. And there we also have two research studies from the Ramdayal Munda Tribal Research Institute of Jharkhand. One of the research study is on a historical study of tribal chiefdoms in Jharkhand, which is of 5 tribes in 5 areas. So that has been specified, and so we are engaged in that study.
Correct.
We already went to the field. Now we are trying to transcribe, whatever we have found out, and then prepare the report.
True.
So also we are engaged in the study of customary rights of 5 major scheduled tribes of Jharkhand. That also is in the process. Of course, we were supposed to finish it, but because of COVID, that's why we got delayed. Then we are also involved in an international project which has not started yet, but we are part of it, and we intend to be part of it. It is on biodiversity, conservation, and health and well-being of indigenous peoples who are our tribals, Adivasis. And this problem of conservation of biodiversity is not something that is India specific.
It's worldwide.
Worldwide, all the indigenous peoples in different parts of the world have this problem of conserving biodiversity in this neoliberalized economy, which is trying to get their resources and so on, and their health and well-being.
True.
So this is one project. It's a global project involving many universities globally, various basically tribal researchers in different parts of the world. And as you know that we have been experiencing the COVID pandemic for the last nearly 2 years.
2 years.
And so we have been engaged in a study on trying to find out the impact of COVID-19 in rural areas. As you know, most of the focus of the media is often on urban areas, but how rural India has been affected by COVID and how they have managed, where they don't have high quality hospitals like there are in cities and so on. So this is something that some study that we have been undertaking, and we will try to see what policy implications are there, and try to make some policy recommendations to the government, as well as trying to see how the various civil society groups and grassroots organizations can help people during these pandemic times.
As you already involved in a lot of research and there's still person going on, when you complete researches and when you try to put implementation, then what kind of responses you get from this community or the this thing, segment of people and acceptance by them?
One minute. Okay.
Yeah, as far as trying to get data is concerned, we get quite a good cooperation from the people. And as far as implementation is concerned, it depends on the various situations. You know? So in some places, if the recommendations are, because recommendations can be different, because we get data from different parts of the country, for example. And different parts of the country have different kinds of issues and problems. So when it comes to implementation, it depends on the various organizations, how they can implement it based on their local situation and local reality. So that is, we are not directly involved in implementation. It is the local grassroots organizations that do it according to their own capacities and according to the context of the people and the situation. So that is how it goes. But see, since the research is from the people, so the reality is there, and definitely since that they experience that reality, then definitely they will accept it.
Sir, I would like to know now, during the COVID-19, it started in March 2020. How was the experience from your end and from the organization point of view?
The COVID-19 pandemic had been something out of the blue. We had never experienced something like this before.
Correct.
We had never experienced a complete lockdown, and this whole situation was totally new, and we never imagined that we would come to this state. But then initially we closed down because the government announced a lockdown. We had to close down. And then I thought initially that this is going to be some 2 months or 3 months type of a thing. Now we realize later that this is going to be an ongoing thing. This is not just 1 month or 3 weeks lockdown.
Correct.
That initially started with 3 weeks, and then afterwards another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks. So this whole idea of that a prolonged pandemic situation and lockdown and situation with all the restrictions is something that we realized later. And so we had to change and adapt our way of functioning.
Correct.
So the first thing is that all our staff had to work from home.
True.
And some staff could work from home, some staff could not work from home. So whichever staff could work from home, they started working from home. And we realized that we could do a lot of work from home. A lot of the publication work continued normally from home. So that was a positive thing. And a lot of work could be done from home because the traveling time was saved. Because a lot of the staff take at least 2 hours traveling. 1 hour to come, 1 hour to go.
Correct.
Given either they have their own vehicles or they go by public transport.
Transportation.
But that takes time.
Absolutely.
And so we realized that they could do a lot of work from home, and therefore since our work is research based and so on, we managed to get that done. But some works came to a standstill. As you know that we also have a project um, which is on building peace and harmony. This project is in 7 states in the country, and we work in schools and in villages.
Right.
We have peace clubs, which we call Vidyarthi Manch for students and Nagrik Manch for youth.
Right.
So this whole project is called Shanti Sadbhavna Manch.
Okay.
Okay. So Shanti Sadbhavna Manch tries to build peace and social harmony in the places that it is being implemented.
Correct.
Now in this project we have been trying to see how students and youth learn to respect the other differences, because we are a country of diverse people. We have different castes, we have different religions, we have different ethnicities, we have different tribes, we have different cultures. But we must not think that the differences are a threat. We must think that differences are enrichment. You, with your difference, you enrich my life.
Absolutely.
You may have different practices of worship. You may have different culture. You may wear different clothes. You may eat different dishes and so on. But if I, with my culture, have my type of food, and then I also have different other food of other cultures and so on, that is also helpful for me. It adds to my variety, it adds to my, it enriches me.
Absolutely.
And
Exploring
also,
new cultures.
yeah. So, for young people must understand that, because often there is a tendency in human beings to remain with your own people, own religious group or own caste and own community sort of. We should learn to break barriers and try to reach out to others as well. And the more people reach out to others, the more the people are enriched.
Absolutely.
So we have been trying to inculcate that in children, and through this Vidyarthi Manch. But now, as you know, for the last nearly 2 years, the schools are closed, and now only the schools are opening up. So there has been problems as far as that is concerned, and but wherever possible, we have been trying to build peace and harmony. We also have been trying to help people appreciate and celebrate different communities' festivals.
Okay. Wonderful.
Everybody, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Sikhs, everybody celebrates Christmas. Everybody celebrates Eid. Everybody celebrates Diwali and various Holi and so on. So there are so many. India is a country of so many festivals and so on. So we should not be only celebrating our festivals. We should also celebrate other people's festivals, and celebrating all festivals makes us happier, because every celebration is happiness.
Absolutely.
And joy and promoting love and harmony and so on. So we try to do that in this project, and now, as you know, because of the lockdown, because of the COVID and so on, that has slowed down. But at the same time, this COVID also has been sort of an opportunity because we have also got COVID relief projects,
Okay.
and we have been engaged in a lot of COVID relief work, and we have distributed over 1,000 ration kits,
Okay.
over 1,000 medical kits in Delhi alone.
All right.
But through various of our networks, we have been able to reach out to many thousands of people, providing rations and providing medicines, providing various types of assistance. And this work is also sort of this work is added, in addition to our
ongoing projects.
ongoing projects. This work also has come in, but we have tried to help as many people as we could, responding to the call of the government.
Yes.
And Niti Aayog,
Yeah.
who has been coordinating this COVID relief work. So we have been doing this as well.
That's fine, sir.
Thank you so much for elaborating the experience of COVID-19. Now, sir, I would like to ask you a few things. One such thing is being as one of the pioneer of this organization at the highest position, the Honourable Executive Director. What inspires you to work this?
The inspiration for me has been certain incidents in my life. I come from a sort of middle class family, and I think what has really shaped my thinking has been my encounter with the poor.
Okay.
So very important for everyone is an encounter with the poor.
Sure, sure.
Just be with them, be with their families, maybe go to their house, eat the food that they provide, and so on. The encounter with the poor is very important.
Correct.
Very important.
So in my life, initially I've been brought up in a middle class family, but then later I was inspired to join the Society of Jesus.
Okay.
And so once I joined the Society of Jesus, we were in a place for our training, which was just next to a slum. And getting to know, because getting to know them really transformed my life.
Okay.
Because initially, I think all people, middle class families, may try to avoid the poor, thinking that they are dirty, they speak bad words, and we may have various prejudices
Absolutely.
against them. But once we really encounter them, meet them, talk to them, go to their houses, eat with them, then we realize that they are no different from us.
That is true.
And we are equal, They may have less resources, they may be poor, they may be doing some menial work, they may be working in some construction site or something like that. But they have the same hopes and aspirations, their desire to live a better life and to help people wherever they can, just as we do. So this has been encounter with the poor at different stages, I would say. So that was one. Then the other thing is that I spent some time with the tribals who have been affected by the various development projects. Okay. So, so going to their houses, and once I entered one house, and they had nothing actually, a tribal family.
Mhm.
So they just went to the forest,
Mhm.
they plucked some leaves and so on, they boiled some leaves and with some curds or milk or something,
Mhm.
they gave it to me. But they never left me hungry.
Mhm.
Okay. So, so this has been my experience with the poor.
Poor.
So they are, very helpful. They they always reach out to people, and yet often they are not treated properly. Often they are displaced and discarded and so on. So I realize that often what comes on the media, the knowledge that we have is from newspapers, from books, from TV anchors and so on. That is different from the actual reality of the people.
Correct, absolutely.
And so, very important to be with the people to get to know the reality.
Correct.
Because if various projects are being prepared from the AC rooms of offices,
Mhm.
that does not often match with the reality of the people. So whatever, I believe that whatever development has to take place, that should be people-centered for the benefit of the people.
People.
And even if, I'm sure that if the people see that there is a larger benefit for themselves and the nation, and definitely they will, they will participate, even sacrifice. They may even give up their land voluntarily. But often, what is happening is that a lot of acquisition takes place, land acquisition takes place involuntarily.
Correct.
So this is an whole area of struggle, you can say, where how to make the government and policymakers
Mhm.
sensitive to the needs and the aspirations of the common people, especially those who are affected. So this has been this has been my experience, and this has been my inspiration as well. So whatever I do,
Mhm.
I do it, keeping in mind the poor people I have experienced at different times, and also during research work. Also, we go to the poor people, and they are the ones who provide us the data. So they are in a way major stakeholders in our work, and so we need to give back to society, especially marginalized groups. So has been my experience.
Right. Sir, I know there would be many occasions wherein you must have felt very good, satisfied. When we encounter with the poor people, we all of a sudden we develop the compassion that they need our love. Although, like you said, they don't have resource, but they need our love. They do have the aspirations. I would like to ask you one such experience. I'm sure there would be many experiences wherein you would have satisfied yourself. Yes, this work has satisfied me. But one important experience you share with us. You had have.
Yeah, one experience I can think of is when I was in charge of, not in charge, as an assistant parish priest in a church. I realized that people need some support for uh, higher education,
Okay.
because schools often the fees are okay, manageable, affordable for the families. But when some people want to be engineers or take up some professional courses that requires a lot of money. And so I thought of you know trying to give a loan, sort of a loan to the people, and it would be sort of a revolving fund. That means once they take the loan, they return it, and once they return it, that becomes capital to give someone else.
Okay, all right.
The equipment.
Yeah, for higher education. So so this is something, and then when I gave the loan, I realized they have developed. Once I see them as engineers and have completed their education and got a good job, that gives a lot of
Inner psychological satisfaction.
Yes.
Perfect, wonderful. And that way, it will also inspire him or her that sir has helped me, now I should help someone else.
Yeah.
All right. Sir, I would like to ask you the last question. What are your, sir, ethics? What are the principles of your good self and what are the principles of your organization? And as well as, what's your message for the entire India as well as for the entire world?
As far as myself is concerned, since I am a member of the Society of Jesus, we always have spirituality as a major core of our life. And therefore, um, when right from the beginning, when I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and get ready, then one thing very important is prayer. Personal prayer, personal encounter with the divine. So this is one important aspect of my life and the life of many of us who belong to the Society of Jesus, and many people who are religious. Then we have also other spiritual practices. Okay, like we have the Mass or the Eucharistic celebration. This is another aspect of our life. Community celebrations of spirituality, and that gives strength, spiritual strength to work, because we need to develop our internal spiritual life in order to work for the people.
Correct.
The other aspect of our life is our encounter with the people. And whenever people come to meet and so on, we are always cordial. We like to help as many people as possible. Even in our work, we try to see that we prepare projects that help people, and also we also see that our employees are also helped in some way or the other. For example, though we suffered a lot financially during the COVID-19 pandemic, we made sure that the staff got adequate salaries so that they are able to survive, even though we were not in a financial position to pay their salaries, but yet absorbing the loss with the hope that we will recover later.
Okay.
We have tried to ensure that all the staff are happy and their families are happy, because concern for the other is very important. There are some times that we are able to help. Whenever we are able to help, we help. We had also a very bad experience as far as COVID-19 is concerned, because one of our staff, he passed away because of COVID. Some staff, including myself, we contracted COVID, but we recovered. But one staff, he passed away. So then trying to help him, help his family, and so on. So that has been another area of concern for me, and therefore being concerned about the other, whether it be staff or the people at large, is another aspect of life for me. And the other very important part, which is also related to spirituality, is what we call as exam. So it's an examination of conscience that we do and that I do at the end of the day. That we look at the whole day and see how we have interacted with people, how we have completed our works or plans, whether we said things correctly, whether we offended someone, because it's not necessary that we do everything correctly.
Correct.
You know, there may be times where we may have made some mistakes. That is one thing. And we also take a lot of decisions during the day. So during sometimes we take a lot of decisions, and later we realize that those decisions, though taken in good faith, may have been the wrong decisions. So that is another thing. But this constant review, we need to evaluate our works.
Absolutely.
That is one aspect of our working life. But we have to also review ourselves.
Self-accountability.
Yeah, self-accountability and a review of self.
Absolutely.
So this has been some of my principles, which has kept me going so far.
Sir, one funny question I would like to ask you. Although it's not funny, it makes a lot of sense for me and for the viewers, especially those who will follow you, will get inspired by this important talk, great talk. What sort of food do you eat, sir, which makes you so calm?
No, there is no special type of food that I eat, but since there are certain foods that I have to avoid, like sweets, because I am my family is diabetic,
Okay.
and so I have to avoid some foods, especially sweets. But leaving that, I, what is important is moderation. So, whatever food we eat, I eat just what is required.
Okay.
The normal food, all types of food. I don't have any problems with eating any food, but I eat in moderation.
Right.
And make sure that I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits.
Correct.
And this is very important, because vegetables and fruits are like primary nourishers
Absolutely.
rather than the cooked food.
Right.
Okay. So eat natural foods, especially vegetables, salads, fruits, and you'll be healthy.
Healthy. And as calm as you are. Alright. Sir, sir, finally, I would like to ask you, what is your message for the entire world, for the entire India?
The message that I can convey in particular is that we have, each one must have a spiritual vision of oneself.
Okay.
Spiritual vision. Because we are bombarded with various things, various messages, various information and so on. But looking at things from the point of view of the divine. For example, each person is classified into, say, Dalits or tribals or Hindu or Muslim. But from the eyes of the divine, all are equal.
Sure.
So we have to develop a spiritual vision of life. So this is one message that I would like to convey. The other one is, we are living in one of the most beautiful countries in the world, India. Our country is not only diverse in topography. We have snow-covered mountains just like Switzerland. We also have beaches and rivers and
Deserts.
Mountains and valleys, and so many natural sites are there, and many go for even sightseeing and tourism to see these natural sites. So as far as our geography is concerned, we are so beautiful, as Rakesh Sharma said from space. Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. So this has been this is one thing. Learn to be in awe and wonder at our country. But it is not only the geographical topography. I think even the humanity, all the people of the country are so beautiful. As far as the culture is concerned, as far as their different ethnicities are concerned, their ways of behavior is concerned, their songs and dance, and so I mean the variety and diversity that is in India does not exist in any part of the world. So what is important is to understand that the other human being, whatever the person may be, whatever caste, religion and culture the person may be, the other person should not be treated as a threat. It should be treated, he or she should be treated as an enrichment to our life. So the person, the other person, the other culture, person with another religion enriches my life, because the differences bring enrichment to my life. So this is one thing that every person in the country should understand, because suppose if we consider the other as a threat, that results in a lot of disharmony, and then it can even lead to violence, as we have often experienced in different parts of the country. So this is the second point that I want to say. The other point is, whatever capacities we have to do it for the welfare and service of the others.
Okay.
If we have various talents and gifts, if we do not share it with others, if we do not, if I'm a musician and if I only say play in my house or in my room, then nobody benefits. Okay. So we should, whatever our gifts and talents that we have, is always for the service of humanity, to make others happy, to make others fulfilled and happy, and give them some joy in life. So this has been, this is my message uh, to the people of the country, and the final message I want to give to the country and the world as well, that we cannot ignore Mother Nature and climate.
Correct.
Always try to see that our life, our work, our way of living is always sustainable, and try to ensure that our life is very much attuned with the climate. Maybe if we can plant more trees, or we can try to use more natural products, and so on and so forth. So try to even try to use more public transport rather than private transport. So in a way, make your own contribution to save our planet, because as you know that the planet is in difficult times, and we are experiencing the effects of it through various floods and cyclones and so on. So this is the message that I would like to give.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, I would like to say, viewers, that sir has not just given us the message for the social development or concerning for the humanity, as well as he has given the message how we can give our contribution for the preservation of climate, which is the need of an hour. To wrap up this program, I would like to request our event coordinator for the final note.
We are thankful to sir for joining our program. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Denzil. Yeah. Sir, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining.